He did not disrespect those who had shown and proved, even for 1 year. LeBron placed himself, his son, in a situation when he said, I can assess this game because I'm the best player in the league. So what I say holds weight. If I'm the greatest player, I'm getting GOAT and I'm the best in the league or one of the top 5 in the league still, and I have assessed the league and I say my child is better than half the league, I must know something. And when your child, who deserves a 55th pick assessment, the opportunity to groom, then come into the league and impact the league instantly off what you're saying, people are going to analyze that child on that. And the fact that you said it and it hadn't come to fruition, you could tell your child and instill in your child all the confidence in the world at home.
Right.
If you see it in your child, and this is not me telling people how to raise their kids. This is me saying when you make it public and you diminish the credibility of the players that are already in the league in public, you put your child in a man's place.
And you put pressure on your child to do it, to live up to what you said.
Hello and welcome everyone to another edition, actually a special edition of No Jazz from Mount Sinai. Hold on. Are you down? Hey, no, don't do that now, man. Just calm down.
Nah, I'll be here.
As you can see, we have Tank in the building, and he has challenged all the players in the NBA who do load management and take time off due to injury, where they have a hangnail or get a paper cut and decide to take the game off. But my man Tank has said he's going to battle through his situation in the hospital. He hit me up early and said, I'm in the hospital, man, and I'm going to be here for a few days, but we're taping today. And with that being said, everyone say hello to Tank. Or Tank say hello to me.
Yeah. Maybe you need to be somewhere.
They need to be visiting you. They need to be visiting you. We are doing a hospital visit today for Tank.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Glad to see y'all tuning in for another episode of No Jazz. Like he said, KD said, I hit him up, told him, hey, I'm in the hospital, but we gonna record. Hey, if Kanye could do Through the Wire with his wire shut, jaws wired shut, I figure, hey, I can do this show with a breathing mask. So let's get it.
And low key, I want y'all to give a shout out to Tank. In all seriousness, everyone, please, make sure you have your regular checkups. Make sure health is wealth. You know that, and you are definitely looking out for yourself. And we're wishing everyone who has family members, themselves, or anyone that is suffering through anything, we pray for you and we make sure you're all right. Now, to the show. And before we go, I just want Tank to know that he always talked about my vocabulary and my double entendres and my little quick wit. But, he didn't really realize that he used 2 rap songs in his introduction there. He said Through the Wire and Hit 'Em Up. And the importance of that was, Tupac was in the hospital too. So he is definitely fighting. He is definitely fighting right now. And before we get any further, we got to get on to the most important thing. Make sure you follow us on YouTube at No Jazz Show, Instagram at No Jazz, Instagram at no.j.a.s.s, Facebook at No Jazz Show. Thank you for the new Facebook followers and everyone that's been actually doing their part and posting and giving us this fine sports information in the hardest season of sports, the off season of football. We know it. And then you also have TikTok and all those things. TikTok at No Jazz Show. Make sure you like, comment, hit that subscribe button, follow, share, do all those things that you need to do in order to keep this show alive. We are trying and doing our best, and we are going to get K strong by the start of the football season 2025-2026. Now, speaking of the football season, last night we have a double whammy. I don't even know if Tank, did you know? I don't even know if you knew, but the Cincinnati Bengals, have done their due diligence and signed both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to contract solidifying them for the next 4 years. And so they now have what I guess is it their version of the triplets in place, Tank?
I wouldn't really call them triplets
Because you got a
because
running back.
yeah, or they need or a tight end because they got two receivers.
Right.
Yeah, so
I can flow with that. I can flow with
yeah,
that.
so maybe twins plus one.
And a plus one. Now I kind of want to insert this topic real quick because
Mm-hmm.
I want to get your feedback on this. Jamar Chase, $40 million a year, highest paid wide receiver now. The
Mm-hmm.
price is going up of those top five. I think we only have one because I don't think Tyreek Hill in the top five anymore.
No, I don't think he. I think he might be number 6 now.
I think he might be just outside of the top five. So I'll go ahead and give him two. Two of the highest paid receivers in the league have championships, Super Bowl championships. I will give Chase and crew their credit. They have made an appearance. But there is Justin Jefferson out there, a CeeDee Lamb out there. Brown just won one, so he's one of the two. Tyreek Hill is the other two. Who is it? St. Brown?
St. Brown. Also, Metcalf just got 50 million a year. From Pittsburgh, he got $150 million contract.
He got 150 million. Okay, he didn't have the highest annual. We're just talking about
Right.
the annual. Yeah, he did get a contract, and congratulations to him. I think Nomara, he just got engaged.
Yeah.
Sean Watson just got engaged. I guess everybody's doing that plan of action to show some stability and take the Jalen Hurts off-season strategy. Get engaged, get a ring. Never know.
One way or the other.
One way or the other. But be careful now. I don't wish anything bad on anyone. But Iman Shumpert, that'd be a lesson. But we'll get to that. So, what do you think? What do you think this contract entails for Cincinnati moving forward? These contracts, I should say.
It tells me how much pull Burrow has in the building because you seldom see two receivers become the highest paid at their position. Because Chase is the highest paid receiver in period, and Higgins is the highest paid number 2 that the league has ever seen.
Yeah.
You usually see one of them generally is going to be gone somewhere else because they're going to get money that they weren't going to get with the team they start with.
Right.
But for Higgins, and this isn't anything against his ability, but this puts him in a position where you really don't, you never really have to find out, hey, is he a true number 1 or is he just a very good number 2? Because we can go down the list of the past 30-some years of receivers who went elsewhere to be number 1, and they in actuality was number 3 or number 4. So that's good. It's good for Higgins, good for his career. It's also good for Cincinnati's passing attack because really, do you really want Chase to be out there by himself with some other receivers who will probably be 4s and 5s? Because that puts a lot more pressure on him, a lot more pressure on Burrow, and the offense doesn't run as well. So I'm good with them doing that. But at the same time, if you let your sack leader Hendrickson go,
there you go.
Your defense still got to stop somebody, and they
And
still need a running game.
did we not see 41-38, 44 all year long at losses? Which means like your defense is not stopping anyone. So, and I'm not in anyone's pocket or hating on anyone's pocket. It's just where's your priority when you don't? Was he the NFL sack leader?
Yeah.
Where's your priority when you don't handle business with him?
Yeah, I don't. They've got 33% of their salary cap is occupied by those three players. Now you got to take care of everybody else with 60-some percent. And Hendrickson, whether you go for it, believe it or not, he's gonna command a lot of money because the emphasis on defensive ends and outside linebackers is, hey, do you give me a pass rush? Do you bring the quarterback down? That's a rare skill set. That's why they pay for it so much. The guys that you pay the most are the guys who impact what's going on with the ball. That's your quarterback, that's your receiver, that's your DB, because you need him to stop what's happening with the ball because they throw so much. And you also need to pay the guy who protects your quarterback blind side and the guy who's going to be knocking the other quarterback out. those are the top paid positions, and that's where the money goes. And if you don't have the money to pay a guy who, based on last year, is one of the top pass rushers in the league, you crippling your defense unless you're going and you assign a whole bunch of other players on defense to pick it up. Because like you said, we saw a whole bunch of shootouts. We never saw that defense do a thing.
A whole bunch of shootouts. And there was definitely a large number and plethora of free agency signings that happened within the past week. And we're definitely going to have some shorts on those. And it's not the most notable per se, but it has become the loudest. DeMarcus Lawrence, former Cowboy, has signed with the Seattle Seahawks and stated that he left the Cowboys to go win, because he's not going to win the Super Bowl with the Cowboys. So he signs with the Seahawks. I don't know what the logic is in that. Maybe he knows something I don't know.
Yeah,
There is the Dallas Cowboys have become the new Tampa Bay Buccaneers as far as releasing players, and then you've seen people who were former Cowboys go on to win championships. I remember that used to be a cloud that hung over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' head in the '90s, and now the Cowboys are finding themselves in that position. Nevertheless, Michael Parsons, for whom we feel like the Marcus Lawrences of the world were freed up for, had some words to say in regards to the Marcus Lawrence's comments about the Cowboys. Because a lot of people are feeling like, hey, you've moved on, you got some money, be happy, keep our name out your mouth. That's not what he said, but it was kind of in regards to that, because he called him a clown. So, and then DeMarcus Lawrence retaliates with a tweet war, with his own Twitter tweet, and tells Michael Parsons, if he did less talking and more winning, we might have us a Super Bowl. So what do you think about that exchange?
First of all, I think DeMarcus Lawrence was overpaid in the first place. He had one good year. He had 1 year where you say, okay, this guy might be one of the up and comers. And what's he done? Because he's paid for sacks. I mean, let's not get it twisted. Defensive ends and outside linebackers are paid to to bring the quarterback down or provide pressures and hurries. He wasn't doing much of any of that. He was hurt a lot. Being Jerry, overpaid like he always does, because he wants to have somebody that's got a name to keep the Cowboys out in the public eye. And Lawrence didn't do that after he got that contract. I don't think it's a big loss for them, because either he didn't show that he was that type of player, or the defensive coordinators weren't able to use him effectively enough to get that kind of productivity out of him. I don't like to see these guys going back and forth on social media like that. Is this new generation? They sensitive. They just there's some words that we could have said some years ago and it would have been fine. We can't say it now because people take it and run with it, but that's not right. You don't do. There's no reason to be going back and forth. You're gone.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're gone. You're playing with another team. I don't have nothing to say to you as far as that goes. Wish you well, wish you well, wish you unwell, or whatever. But you're not my concern anymore. You're not on the team, so I'm not wasting my time talking about you. And that goes on both ends, both sides. And the only thing I would say would be, if you wanted that guy to still be there, or if one of them still wanted him to be there, they might have said, "Hey, I wish you were still here. That's my brother. I hate to see him leave." But to be going talking all of a sudden, now you saying, "Hey, if you would have got yourself together, we could have won something." Did you ever address Lawrence in the locker room and in these past few years you've been there? Well, you kept your mouth closed and talked about and told him he was your boy. Was Lawrence always, "Hey, we ain't gonna win nothing here. I'm just waiting to become a free agent"? But did he always have that attitude over the past few years, or these just new feelings they all expressing?
I think sometimes kids, when you're drunk and when someone's not around you, to defend themselves, the truth comes out. But it's almost like they're trying to compete with Rick Ross and 50 Cent with this social media back and forth people are doing. And speaking of social media back and forth, we're going to stick with that. We got some back and forth. The funny thing about this back and forth is these are DeMarcus and Micah are former colleagues going back and forth. And we're about to have some new colleagues next year when the NBA on TNT team joins Stephen A. Smith and the ESPN team. But it seems that Kendrick Perkins didn't take too kindly to what Charles Barkley had to say in regards to the ESPN staff and the way he worded things. Stephen A. said that's how Charles talks. Kendrick was being a little too sensitive, for lack of a better term. Charles speaks to everyone like that. And Charles basically said, something that we here at No Jazz attempt to try not to do, but when they make news, they make news. But he was basically saying, you got to talk about OKC. You got to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Don't sit on talking about the Lakers who are fourth down to keep your ratings. And I totally agree because, as a Cowboys fan who's currently in the portal, the fan portal, it is very difficult to see teams that are very deserving of the analysis, the talk, and everyone speaking good about them, and you always revert back to the one that everyone loves to talk about. Yeah. I know it's difficult when you are the Lakers, the Yankees, the Cowboys to not have the main press, but it's just what it is. But Charles is definitely right, and Kendrick didn't have any good words about it. You got anything to say about that, Tank? As far as that back and forth?
Yeah, Barkley's right. You're right. I mean, you can't. It's cheap and lazy journalism for one thing. If you're always going for, I know you want ratings, but you got to give other guys their due. Just because the team draws, you can't just go and say, "Hey, well, we're gonna cover them regardless." No, if they aren't doing well, you need to give some shine to the teams that are doing better. I think it's going to put Perkins in a position where he's going to have to do a little more research, a little more digging, and get himself more acclimated to what's going on with some other teams that are up and coming, or maybe some other teams that are on their way down who never got. He's going to need to talk about somebody else, and it's going to cause him to work more. Barkley is well rounded and will go and talk about whomever and everybody, and you already know what you're getting with Barkley. So don't be sensitive. Don't get all moist about it because he said something that hurt your feelings.
And remember, ladies, for all of your comfort and around the house wear, lingerie, comfy clothes, make sure you visit quickvisits.com. That's QUICVISITS.com. For all of your lounge wear, lingerie wear, sport wear, workout wear, athletic wear, make sure you go to quickvisits.com. They'll be there for you. Love that I
take it, grow from it, and y'all should develop a good chemistry when y'all are talking about it together, when y'all talking about these things together on air. So, I mean, is it envy? Is it jealousy? Or what? Are you threatened? What's the problem? The man said what he wanted to say. You say what you want to say and keep it moving. I mean, because to be honest, we really care more so about watching the game than we do listen to them talk about it.
Absolutely. And before I go there, we're going to take a small little pit stop with a colleague of Stephen A. Smith, Ryan Clark, for the NFL time, right? And of course, Ryan Clark, shout out to Ryan Clark and Pivot. He has his own podcast. But nevertheless, Ryan Clark had some choice words, and he's had some back and forth himself with one Aaron Rodgers, but that's not the point right now. Ryan Clark has made very open statements in regards to prior to the combine, what was considered one of the top two quarterbacks, probably still is, in the upcoming NFL draft coming up in April, Shadour Sanders. And the issue was Ryan Clark stated that, Shadour Sanders was getting some unfair analysis treatment due to what he said was racial. Of course, the news was that Shadour did an interview, or in his interview, there was a scout or a player personnel manager of some sort.
A former quarterback.
Former quarterback coach, okay. Who felt that Shadour's personality and characteristics was a little bit too arrogant for him personally. And then went on to say a team doesn't need that. And so there was a lot of, clapback in regards to those statements. But Ryan Clark's was definitely very telling. And I just want to get your input on that, Tank.
I like Ryan. I think he's usually spot on in his takes, but he's off base with this one. What have we heard about to bring down, as they like to put it, Cam Ward? I haven't heard anything in the knocks about Cam to say, well, maybe he isn't worthy of a first round pick. Shadour, it would have been probably the last or next to last quarterback picked in the first round had he come out last year. He happened to be coming out in a year where there's 2 first-round quarterbacks, or possibly 3 if you put in Jackson Dart. I don't think race has anything to do with what's going on with Shadour. I don't have a problem with Shadour being brash, as they said. You was just using the words that they use, brash or arrogant, because you have to have athletic arrogance to make it, particularly when you're in a leadership position. The quarterback role, the quarterback position is the top spot. When you win, it's because of you. It's what the media says, and you have to pass all that on to everybody else. Hey, it's my teammates. They did this, that, and other. When you lose and play great, you have to say, hey, it's on me. So you can't just, no quarterback, a real one, a real leader that the guys follow, plays bad, plays well, and they lose, and they say, yeah, these guys got to do this, that, and other. Quarterback can throw for 800 yards and 10 touchdowns and lose. And he's going to say, hey, I got to play better. I got to do better. I had a couple of passes that I should have completed, and I didn't. I don't think that Shadour has that issue. I just think that the scouts combine, they're doing what they do every year. Every guy who's predicted to be one of the top is always nitpicked. They start plucking away. Everybody starts getting their pound of flesh because that's what they do. They aren't just gonna say, "Oh, he's perfect. He's perfect. He's perfect. He's perfect." I can't recall anybody that's come out as far as a quarterback probably since Peyton Manning that generally had almost no weaknesses as far as what they talked about. And even then, there was a debate between Manning and Leaf. Every quarterback gets picked apart.
Even Peyton had people. You can't win the big one.
Yeah, or can't throw the deep ball.
You can't throw the deep ball. I mean, even he had his critiques. But absolutely, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean you can't run and throw race as an issue every single time. It happens every year. Quarterbacks get dissected. That I'm about to spend initially 20, 30, $40 million on you. And then if you paying out the way I want you to, I'm gonna spend 300 million on you. I need to know what makes you tick, what gets to you, what doesn't get to you, what you can do well, what you can't, what you need to improve on, what you can't do well, what you're not going to improve on. I don't think Sanders runs better than a 4.6. I hadn't seen him pull away from anybody. Is that a knock? No. But I need to know because you aren't fast. What are you going to do when the pocket breaks down and you need to get out of there? Are you gonna wilt or what are you gonna? I need to see all of your weaknesses and decide if the juice is worth the squeeze. Hey, man, he can't. Man, when he hangs it out there, it's only a 40-yard pass, and our coordinator likes to throw the deep ball. When we say deep ball, we want it traveling more than 40 yards. He doesn't have the arm strength for that. I'm gonna have to dock him a few points. Or he
It,
doesn't throw. Yeah, he doesn't
not
throw
racial.
the deep out. He doesn't throw the deep out. And I'm just making up things. He doesn't throw the deep out with accuracy. That's a key play in our offense. Are we going to change the offense, or are we going to or we can we improve him, help him improve in that area? I don't think there's a problem with his preparation or anything. He knows he no he's been. We also need to see how is he going to react for the first time in his football life that his dad isn't his coach. He can't talk. He can't talk that. He can't
Even though he's
call
had
dad
all
up.
those different coordinators and moved from level to level, Dad has always still been there, still been his ball coach. Now, I
Yeah.
want to say this. I don't give out disclaimers. My man, my mom loves Ryan Clark. Sharp, articulate. A lot of us have used, and it makes our podcast better, and it makes our persona better when we don't grow from a minimal level of no one, and we can
Mm-hmm.
use the platform of being in professional sports or whatever it is too. And then being a former NFL player, it makes your analysis of a situation more credible. So I'm not going to take anything away from that, but the analysis here, I have to agree, is not spot on. It's not very historical, to tell the truth. And
Yeah.
I need a lot of people to stop living in this dynamic that we call the past. If you're making this argument in 1982, 75,
Mm-hmm.
I might agree with you. Sanders is actually getting off easy if all we're talking about is his confidence and his
Yeah.
arrogance. And we're not talking about his touch, the way he holds the ball, his deep ball, He holds it too long. All those things that they want to talk about and should be talking about as far as the quarterback is concerned, all they're talking about is confidence, arrogance. Like you don't want to have that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like a key element, and you're paralleling it with race. And let me tell you something, and I'm saying this because it's an off argument. And here's why. Because as much as we want to act like the black quarterback is non-existent in the NFL, that's just not the truth.
Exactly.
We had 2 just playing the Super Bowl. We had 1 just win. The first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl is becoming a black quarterback to win the Super Bowl is becoming a moot point now because it's becoming more and more consistent and more of a reality every year. It's almost like it's almost gained the same popularity as having a hip hop artist or a black artist do the halftime show of the Super Bowl. Like it's not something that should be coming up anymore as far as race is concerned. Because for every Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham, Major Harris, Charlie Ward, Tommy Frazier, T. Martin, who actually won championships and Peyton couldn't, there's still Doug Williams. Stop acting like Doug Williams won first round 17th pick coming out of HBCU.
Exactly. And was
stop acting like that.
And was a
Heisman Trophy candidate. Stop acting like Steve McNair won first round 3rd pick, played in the Super Bowl. Stop acting like we didn't because you don't want to look at Shadour, and a lot of people are arguing, I don't want to throw at the combine. Look at the game film. Stop acting like we didn't look at what Vince Young did in his Texas run and give him accolades that he probably didn't deserve off the national championship game. Let's stop acting like we didn't look at Cam Newton's physical attributes, but stop acting like we didn't look at his Heisman year on film and really didn't want anything else. We can sit up here. I forgot the name of that quarterback that went after Cam, but they weren't gonna pick him over Cam. I'll think of his name.
Oh, you mean Luck?
No, not Luck.
No. That was with RG3.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna find his name. But we gotta start acting like Michael Vick wasn't 1 of 1. Cam Newton wasn't 1 of 1. Donovan McNabb won first round 2nd pick. RG3 won first round 2nd pick. We gotta. Yeah. You can't be. Don't blame the NFL for race because just as many white quarterbacks that they've given props to for absolutely nothing, we're not gonna act like they haven't done the same thing for some black quarterback. Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert.
Like it's foolish to believe that they were gonna pick Blaine Gabbert, who actually did end up with more Super Bowl rings than Cam Newton. Nevertheless, they weren't going to pick Blaine over Cam.
And also, you got to look at the black quarterbacks who were drafted in the first round who busted out, who didn't do a thing.
Still got some blood.
Achilles Smith, Andre Ware.
1 hit, 1 of 1. 1 of 1.
Yeah, so, I mean, his argument doesn't...
And our main man with the Raiders,
Jamarcus
Russell, we got to stop. We got to stop acting like we are beyond reprieve and can't be analyzed. We have enough data and information on black quarterbacks to say, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Without it being racial. We got to stop.
To be honest, if you really want to do it, it's a reverse. If you want to do it, you could say you could apply that to white cornerbacks and to white running backs.
And white running backs.
If you want to go and do all that, but no, he's off base with that. He's looking at it from a mentality of the 70s and 80s.
Jamarcus Russell was just as much held to the high standard as Heath Schuler.
Mm-hmm. And they both didn't do a damn thing.
Come on, you can't. You gotta. This ain't 25 years ago. Probably not even 35 years ago. Race, you can't be using that as your go-to talking point, arguing point, just get some clicks. I'm really not with Ryan on that one. As far as race is concerned, a lot of people want to grab a hold of that, and when people are against that, they want to say you must have voted for Trump. I'm not even a New Jersey Generals fan.
Not the New Jersey Generals.
Yeah. People who don't know how to go back that far are the ones using race. Nevertheless, now off of Ryan Clark onto some more button heads. Probably the talk of the town and button heads. And this one went viral on social media, but it was old school. Head up, face up. LeBron James approaches Stephen A. Smith during a game that LeBron was playing in, suited up. And the word is, he said, basically keep my child's name out your mouth and don't analyze him. And that's all. Step to him at a Lakers Knicks game. Came during the third quarter and between the third quarter and fourth quarter break. Went over there to him. Even they had just signed his $100 million contract, for which he probably owes 80% of that to the Lakers and the Cowboys, because just like Charles says, they kind of stand on that in order to keep ratings. Yeah, I said it. It's true. But what do you think about, how do I want to pose this? This is the best way to pose it. Since Stephen A. said he didn't step to me as LeBron James, he stepped to me as a father. What do you think about parents stepping to people, as far as the media, because we're the media, about their child's?
Yeah. Hey, he's not. Once he's a professional, he's not a child anymore. He's a grown man getting paid to do a job, and he is not above reproach. If he's not doing something, not playing up to par, you have the right to call him out on it, talk about it, but it shouldn't be just a vicious attack. It should be fact based, and of course, it's gonna always have some of your opinion, but it should be based on what he's doing on the court or what he's doing on the field or whatnot. But LeBron is in a different position because that's not only his son, but that's his teammate. Now, if he had stepped to and he steps to him defending his teammate, okay, but not keep his name out of his mouth and don't criticize him. If nothing else, hey, you need to be fair with my teammate, or don't just be dragging my teammate. But as his father, and there's a separation. You don't get in your child's business. Like Dion does not need to be in his child's business once he gets drafted. If he's not his agent, he can help guide him. But once he signs a contract, that's it. You should be up in the stands watching the way Archie Manning did with his kids. But I don't think LeBron needs to separate the two. And he needs to decide, I'm gonna speak to you, tell you how I feel about this. And he should have done it off the record, to be honest. He should have done it off the record.
I'm gonna say this because you bring up a very valid point. Prime has only suggested basically the same thing, and this is the reason I'm paralleling the two. Prime has suggested, yes, my child is probably getting critiqued a little harder because of me. Mm-hmm. How I was on the field, who I was on the field. But Prime never said my son is better than half the quarterbacks in the league right now. He did not disrespect those who had shown and proved, even for 1 year. Mm-hmm. LeBron placed himself, his son, in a situation when he said, I can assess this game because I'm the best player in the league. So what I say holds weight. If I'm the greatest player, I'm getting GOAT, and I'm the best in the league, or one of the top 5 in the league still, and I have assessed the league, and I say my child is better than half the league, I must know something. And when your child, who deserves a 55th pick assessment, the opportunity to groom, then come into the league and impact the league instantly off what you're saying, people are going to analyze that child on that. And the fact that you said it and it hadn't come to fruition, you could tell your child and instill in your child all the confidence in the world at home.
Right.
If you see it in your child, and this is not me telling people how to raise their kids. This is me saying when you make it public and you diminish the credibility of the players that are already in the league in public, you put your child in a man's place.
And you put pressure on your child to do it, to live up to what you said.
Live up to what you said. And that's what Stephen A. said. He was trying to tell LeBron to just back off that. And LeBron didn't take that as a man to LeBron. He took that as a, you telling me how to raise my child, which a lot of black people, what they do is they take things out of context and they try to hold on and latch on to the fact that that's my child. But the context was, no, you said something about a player, your teammate, that's not necessarily so, and you diminish the rest of the league in the process. You diminish the talents of the rest of the league in the process. And that's really what happened. And so I think, just as you said, that's my teammate. And how do teammates usually take up for teammates? Teammates usually allow the teammate to confront the person that's saying something about them. And then they go over there and push the teammate to the side and say, yeah, man, because they want to get in the fight. And I personally believe it would have been more suitable to have Bronny go over there and face up to Stephen A. like a man. Even being a rookie, it would have looked like a a young man rookie move that you shouldn't be doing, but definitely after the game. And then LeBron kind of pushed him out the way and give a little finger and kind of hide it from, I told you not to be messing with my boy, and going on about the business. Even though he said what he said, in the same time, it would have just looked like you got Bronny mad. A lot of people get the context of that wrong because I'll take up for my child and I'll do all this. No. All your food delivery needs. Make sure you go to Light Snack. That's LYTE snack.com. And make sure for all your deliveries, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you visit Light Snack and they'll deliver it right to your door. And make sure when you get those deliveries, make sure you're ordering those Magic City wings. And remember, their motto, don't forget to lick the sauce. Very. I'm going to say this too. Keep him in the game. And I'm going to say this too. I'm pretty sure Ken Griffey Jr. had a slump. I'm pretty sure there was an announcer who wasn't feeling Ken Griffey Jr. on his minor slump his rookie season when he got called up from the AAA. I'm pretty sure it was. It might not have been long, but it might have just been enough room to have a critical analysis where Ken Griffey Sr. could have said, "Don't be running your mouth about my child. I know it wasn't social media. I know it couldn't go viral back then, but I'm almost certain it didn't happen because you got to let your child have them growing pains as an athlete, professional." And I remember a time, Bron himself, I don't know what year it was, but his mama jumped on the court. And Bron had to tell his mama, "I'm a man now, back your ass up." And you going out doing the same thing she did? That don't even sound right. See, exactly. He's going to go to another team. He probably will have to go to another team in order for someone to run that joke on him, because I doubt they run that joke on him with the Lakers or maybe one will, because everyone knows, don't get too close to him. Don't blow on him too hard, Brian end up kicking you off the team. I'm pretty sure that's already going on. But you don't want to put that type of scrutiny on your child, becoming a man. That's a tough call because a lot of people want to go over here and want to go over there. But that's just something, man. I was totally shocked. And then the media now is saying, because there are a lot of people he knew who to step to, though, and they're wondering, will LeBron have stepped to all the people that said the same thing? 6'9", 260. You gonna run up on everybody? I'm pretty sure Dale Earnhardt Sr. didn't say nothing when Junior was losing all them races. Speaking of losing races, I believe the WNBA is going to end up losing this race again, as they are attempting to. I honestly don't know what's going on with them. Like, nothing against the WNBA, but come on, ladies. You all are suggesting or threatening a holdout if you don't get a pay raise. Are they asking for equal money? We got to talk about that. They've been in the black. I don't even think the people you name have enough power to hold out, because the platform is why you have those endorsements. That's why you're popular. So don't lose the platform, because you're going to easily find out. You want to be like the NBA? Guess what? There have been players who were riding high with endorsements 1 year. That PPG went down. That PPG got to go. I know some season ticket holders, but it's not enough. Still get them for $10. Still a cheap date. I would do, and I hope no one takes this the wrong way, but I think all the arenas that host WNBA games should have salons installed and let them get a manicure and pedicure and their hair done after the game and be quiet. Moving right along. Before I ask this question, it is March. March Madness is upon us in NCAA, and I have to give a shout out to the Sporting News Player of the Year. Hometown. Is it Jahani or Johnny? I know Albert is daddy. Broom. Yeah, what Daryl called it? Nephew. He's not my nephew, but I know the young man people, and it make me feel good because he's from my hometown. Very uplifting spirit story. Johnny Broom, congratulations. Auburn, Sporting News, SEC as well. Player of the Year. Congratulations to you. Plant City Raiders. I'll give Tampa Catholic that shout out to. This is very big for us. Now, having said that, he's going to be playing, and hopefully he has a good run, and it leads to great things for him, as well as all the guys who will be in that, I think it's 65 or 66 bracket as they begin their quest for a national championship. So I'm asking you, do you think other sports in college would benefit, other college sports would benefit from a March Madness type of environment? I think the playoffs, the CFP playoffs is pretty good. You know, December, January Madness. But do you think they would benefit from having such fanfare that March Madness brings about? Or you're talking about sports outside of basketball and football. So basically, it wouldn't work unless your child is playing. Not too many. Not too many. And that's to go with NCAA women's basketball as well. Like it's just very hard. Now I will say this. I will say this. They don't lead to anything. Like even when you watch the college football playoffs and you watch March Madness, the fandom of that is okay. Now I kind of want to pay attention to who's doing what because the NBA draft is coming up, and these are the guys that may get promoted in the draft. Of course, the NFL draft is coming up. You kind of want to see what their trek was and what they're doing, in the college football playoffs and the bowl games. So I don't think those other sports have a definitive road to professional sports that allows their playoff run and March Madness to even be magnified to a great fan viewing experience to where people would follow. So I think they need to put that in place, but I've never seen a rugby or lacrosse draft either. I don't know. I don't do that. No track and field draft. I mean, the only time we do watch the track and field regionals is Olympic season, or college regionals. So yeah, that's something that would be kind of difficult to propose, I should say. And speaking of propose, I did mention about Iman, my main man, DK Metcalf, Watson, all those guys. I kind of want those guys to really pay attention to what's going on because, and I believe that was his fiance for whom Xavier Worthy had to put out a private investigator in regards to, and he had that private investigator follow her, and it led to a domestic situation where he found out she was indeed cheating on him, because I won't call it infidelity because they weren't actually married. But she was cheating on him and led to domestic violence that had him land in jail, or arrested, I should say. And of course, thank goodness the charges were dropped. And that is something I just want all 20-something-year-olds to just kind of just be aware of as you get involved in relationships, partying, and anything. It's hard being a 20-something-year-old athlete, in those situations. But I wish him the best moving forward, and I hope there's a way he can heal. Absolutely, he ain't moving the needle. Right. She was just trying to use the platform and the money to, in a sense, this is a level of extortion. And I think at some point, in order to stop this, you have to kind of hold them accountable in some way, form, or fashion, because it's easy to play the victim, write a book. Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of, yeah, it's a hard punishment on these females for what they're doing. And speaking of which, you said locked up, male, female. I'm not gonna get into that, but I did notice this is kind of like a little hit refresh moment where we're having right now. I'm gonna hit the refresh button. I'm gonna hit the refresh button right fast. All because um Tank mentioned Tupac and earlier, and locked up, which is Akon. But I want to ask Tank because I noticed that Tory Lanez, who had a domestic situation as well, and it kind of was like one of those questionable situations, went to trial. He is currently doing time, but in the midst of doing his bid, he has put out an album called Peterson, and I don't know if it, as we're speaking, but it was definitely number one, streaming number one on Apple platforms. And it got me to thinking, technology is allowing these kids to continue to put money on their books and sell records and do as they could as far as their lifestyle and maintain their way of living as they're concerned by continuing to make music even while behind bars. Now, I know there have been some phone calls made behind bars and some who have been locked up for whatever the situation was, for a period of time. And if the technology was there while they were locked up, who would be your top 5 artists you would want to hear do an album while they were doing their bid? Or do an album and it would, do an album while they were in, and it might, do something. Meaning, Jerry Lewis was, it might be a Jerry Lee Lewis. He white too. Little Richard Black. He just wore some heavy makeup, black and white. Little Richard. Okay, Little Richard. And it's no particular order for you, right? All right, Little Richard. Okay. No. And I'm mad I don't know his name. That's so sad. Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry. Tupac, Bobby Brown. Everybody want to blame R. Kelly for what Robert did. R. Kelly. Absolutely. Go ahead. The brat. The brat. Well, they get sober in jail. Well, I think I don't know how they're doing it, but it's something sliding in, and they put it on his book for commissary. I'm pretty sure it is. So that was five for you. That was Chuck Berry, Tupac, Bobby Brown, R. Kelly, and the Brat. All right, that is a good incarcerated list. Okay, I'm gonna roll with Al Green. Al Green. I think when Al Green did his time, he could have Al Green had so much soul that would have just, that would have done something. He might have been. Or this next one. Or this next one. Well, he ain't up here for me. I ain't really got no top five. But even though he did do a verse from jail, well, before I say him, Tax Evasion had my man locked up, and I'm gonna say Ron Isley might have did a good one when he was locked up. I'm gonna say Ron Isley. So that's Al Green, Ron Isley. He did the verse because you said Tupac, and he was probably one of mine too. But since you said him, I'm gonna go ahead and say Lil Wayne. When Lil Wayne was locked up, he had some interest, and R. Kelly was one of mine too. So I'm going to go and say T.I. I think T.I. would have made some forceful music from his incarcerated days. A lot of people, I'm gonna get one extra because this is my man, and I think we lost a little something when he was out there. A lot of people might like this Boosie. I'm gonna say Boosie, but that's not my fifth one. My fifth one is going to be, and I'm gonna say he my number one, Rick James. Rick James might have been. Rick James might have been the original locked up. I think Rick would have hit that one. So Rick might have actually asked for something why he was like Rick. But yeah, those are my top five. With an added bonus of six artists for whom I feel if they would have had the equipment, and the technology there at that time, they could have definitely made some very touching albums during their incarceration. And on that note, do you have any last words? Okay, I got a question. This is another hit refresh. Current roster, or can I go past and over? All right. So what am I asking? I am asking like a DC Marvel switch. So I got to give the heroes, or I'm just using the crossover team just for football. Okay. I got you now. Woo. I'm gonna bring you over from DC to Marvel or Marvel to DC. I think I would have loved to see Iron Man or Batman, whichever one you want to go. I want to see the two billionaires crossover. I would have loved to see their technology and their the fact that both of them kind of were arms dealers and made weapons. I would want to see their brains work together. I believe Tony Stark would have definitely had Batman flying. He would say, "Hey man, why don't you put a jetpack in the bat suit?" And Batman might have said, "Cool, I'll see your bat suit, and let me build you a few of these here Batmobiles. We're gonna build you an Iron Man mobile." And they just would have been so arrogantly billionaire minded, just seeing who could do what the best. I would have done that. Let me see if I have another one. Oh yes, I definitely would have had Flash. I think this crossed over sometime with some cartoons. I want to see Flash and Superman race. I want to see Flash or Superman. Wait a minute. No, Superman is DC. So DC too. So I can't do that. So that's how they did that. You're right. All right. You know what? I'm gonna go villain. I would love to see Doctor X actually lead Super Friends. I would want to see Doctor X bring the crew together because when I was watching the cartoon, I didn't know who was the. I watched GI Joe, and I don't mean crossover. We knew Duke was the man, but who was the man? I guess Batman was the leader. The movies told me that, but I would like to see Doctor X kind of put the team together and say, "Go do it." That would be my crossover. Professor X. Somebody got to be human. You got to be, yeah. You think him and Thor would have bumped heads? Absolutely. Daredevil was Daredevil DC? No, Punisher was DC. Daredevil, yeah, Daredevil, yeah, 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 Daredevil. See, I'm gonna tell you something. Lex Luthor might have ended up a good guy because him and Tony would have been sharing stock information, and him and Tony would have found some common interest. So I like that. I definitely like that. Great universe. Ready to go? Okay. Well, on that note, hey, we're gonna cut it off because Tank has got to get transported to the other room. We ain't gonna say the upper room. Man, gonna be all right to the other room. But before we go, I do kind of want to touch on you. The Fantastic Four definitely need to be X-Men due to their mutation and all everything that happened. But at any rate, it's been a wonderful show. I want everyone to make sure you tune in, join us, subscribe, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all No Jazz Show, Instagram, noj.s.s.s. And make sure you subscribe, leave us some messages on email, nojazz@gmail.com. I just want to send well wishes to my main man, Tank, wishing him to get better. Please leave a comment, get Tank. Send Tank some flowers. You can just use an emoji flower. Just let him know you care about him, let him know you're thinking about him. And to all you and all your family, anything you want to say, Tank? All right. And this won't be his final, but Tank, give everyone a salute. And I wish you well, my brother. All right, man. I will talk to you. This has been Hit Refresh. You just watched another episode of No Jazz. Follow us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. And make sure you hit us up on Twitter at No Jazz Show. Make sure you hit us up on Instagram at noj.a.s.s. Follow us on Facebook on our Facebook page at No Jazz Show. All right? See you soon.